All right, welcome everybody to our first installment of our ContentBox Roadshow, celebrating the near release of ContentBox Cubed, as this slide apparently shows it. Does this mean ContentBox is 3 times what it used to be, Gavin?
Well, I just thought box are cubes, so it's kind of a cool way to do it.
All right, ooh, apparently we have our own hashtag, CBCMS2016. Now, when you say CB, which one of our 17 box products is that starts with C and ends with B? Is that Command Box? Is that Cold Box? Is that Content Box?
That's why we put the CMS after it, so you know which one it is. So you can say it's ColdBox's CMS,
I'm going to
whatever you
write a
want to do.
command box CMS right now and make you feel silly for that. All right, this is our free month-long extravaganza, as Luis likes to say. This is kind of what we do for a lot of our products. So we're going to be doing blog posts galore about ContentBox and the really cool features in ContentBox 3. Ooh, cool box. I like that one, Daniel. We've got 5 free webinars. You're currently sitting in the first one. Lucky you. Led by the Ortus folks and the community. And we're covering everything cool about ContentBox 3. And of course, we are recording the sessions because everyone asks. Very funny, John. Webinars will be an hour, but we will be doing them all month. Okay, so why are we doing a Red Show for ContentBox? Because we love free training for the community, and we like developers. And we have released our release candidate for ContentBox 3, so we're cranking down for that final release. Need tons of testing. We want you guys to know what it does. And of course, we want to jumpstart community contributions because we live and thrive on your guys' contributions from the community. Pull requests and documentations and even just creating modules. So super excited about this stuff. Of course, ContentBox is professional open source. That means that we provide training, support and mentoring, architecture, server tuning, all kinds of stuff, including mariachi singing. And here we have the horribly photoshopped picture of Luis Brad Mahano Wood. That's scary. I gotta get off that slide. So, you already know the URL because you're on it, but bookmark it because we've got more to come. July 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. We've got these topics coming up. So come back and see us on those days. And I think with that, we are on with the show. So take it away, Mr. Gavino.
Okay. See if I can share the right screen, which is always the battle with this here. Okay, hopefully you guys can all see my screen.
What's new in ContentBox 3?
Yep, okay. So let's get started. Okay, so who am I? I'm Gavin Pickin. I've been developing web apps since the late 90s. I'm a developer with Ortus Solutions, and I am the ContentBox evangelist or advocate. What else do you need to know about me? I run CFML repo. I sometimes blog at my blog. I'm blogging on the Ortus blog as well, so you can check that out. And I also have Twitter, GitHub, LinkedIn, but let's get on with the show. So one of the big things with ContentBox 3 is the architecture. Obviously, if you guys are ColdBox users, ColdBox, we jumped from 3.8 to 4.0, and in that was a massive change. 85% code reduction on ColdBox 4. It went to extremely modular based system, so we pulled out all the fluffy bits that everyone complains about with ColdBox and made them all modules. You can still install them, but they're not part of the core anymore. So that gave us major speed updates, smaller code base, and really built on top of what we wanted to do with ContentBox, which was to really get that modularity. You know, ContentBox is all about modules. The next big thing that we did is we looked for enterprise database support. Obviously, people have been using Postgres and Oracle for a while, along with MS SQL and MySQL, but now we've actually gone and done sort of the next step there. We've actually upgraded all the support. We've gone through, had a lot more testing, a lot more input from the community. So for those of you who helped us, thank you. We appreciate it, and we're glad to say that the support for this now is, top notch. If you are using one of those and you have any issues, please let us know. But we're really starting to focus more on enterprises. They're taking an interest in ContentBox, so we're getting a lot more requests for these types of databases. So that's why we're moving there. So we're happy to say that we're supporting these and it's working well. The next big thing is security. we have actually updated all the password algorithms to be bcrypt now. So basically, those of you who don't know what bcrypt is, it's built to be very slow and hard work for anyone trying to break through your encryption. So it actually slows the process down on purpose. So it actually has a lot of built-in features and what is probably the most recommended password encryption. And so we've gone with the industry standard here. And so now that's built into ContentBox. So we're happy to finally have that included. Obviously, security is big these days. And with that in mind, we have some other things. We've now implemented password policies as well. So now ContentBox for new and current users, your passwords must be greater than 8 characters, lower, upper digit, etc. So we've just made it a little bit tougher for people to enter those easily hackable passwords. So not a big deal maybe, but these types of things are just helping make everything a little more secure. Login tracker. So another addition in the security frame. We basically have a little module now that comes in and it actually tracks your invalid logins. So you can actually set how many logins, timeouts, if they lock out or not. And so now ContentBox will actually block individual IP addresses if you try and brute force it. It actually stores all the information on a nice audit log and you can view that inside the admin as well. So nice little feature there. This is some of the options here. So you can see you can enable it, disable it. You can set the number of invalid attempts. You can tell how long they're blocked for. I see a question pop up. Will it block logins from 2 locations at the same time? I believe if you log in, it just bases it on your IP address. So if they're changing IPs, it resets the count for that IP. But we do keep track of them. So if they hit 2 or 3 logins from one IP and get locked out and then try another IP, it'll give them 3 or 4 more. So yeah, basically it's based on that. But like Brad said, you can always write a module for that, or we could update this to just use the username. But it does, at this point, it's per IP. And you can keep track of the logs as well if you want to have less or more. So keep moving on here. Another great tool is a rate limiter. Obviously, rate limiting is something really important these days with DOS attacks and everything else. And we're not saying that you shouldn't use hardware, because obviously hardware is the best bet. Try and eliminate these types of attacks before it gets to your application itself. But we've actually installed this little rate limiter that allows you to limit the number of requests on your server at the software level. So inside ContentBox, it's built in now. You can enable it or disable it. And we actually have another feature in there which says enabled for automated requests only. And there is a spelling mistake there, and I just made a pull request for it. So instead of requests, it's requests. Not sure what that means, but we'll fix that. It'll be in the next update. But if you want to, you can include all legitimate requests or just those that have cookies disabled. So usually most attacks don't have cookies, so if you have that turned on, then it's only basically going to block any bots or anything like that. If you turn it off, you might block yourself, so be careful. I did that earlier just to test it out, and if I set it to 1 for 20 seconds, it makes it really slow to update anything in the site, front end or back end. But it's a nice little feature, and like I say, it's one of those things where you shouldn't need to worry about it too much, and hopefully you have hardware that will help with this, but it's a nice little addition to that. And obviously you can change the limited message to whatever you'd like, and you see the duration there inside the curly brackets. That's just one of the ContentBox conventions for templating, so you can actually put that in there. So, nice little addition. SSL support. With Let's Encrypt and everything, more and more people are starting to use SSLs for everything now. It's obviously just securing, updating everyone's security when you use that. And with HTTP 2 coming, speed improvements and everything are going to be awesome. So if you haven't read about that, I recommend you do. But we're supporting SSL. You've got lots of options. You can turn SSL on or off for one-off pages. You can also force the SSL in just the admin or just the site or both. And you will see that in the settings inside the ContentBox. So nice little addition. Internationalisation. So a majority of the modules in the backend now have been translated into 5 languages. We've built the framework to allow it to do more, so we're working on that. But right now, English, Spanish, Italian, German, and French are all covered. And thank you to those in the community that have contributed for this. Obviously, I don't speak all those languages, so we needed some help. and I appreciate everyone's input there. But if there's languages that you're wanting to work with, please let us know, and we can try and add them to the list, and we can try and get that worked through. And if you've got the expertise, like I say, talk to us, and we can try and help you, guide you through how to do that, so we can basically get all of them updated as well. Front end. There's been lots of work done to the front end, and I'm going to go over those in a minute, but we've done a lot of work on themes. They're no longer called layouts. We have restful formats, which is really cool. You can actually build on top of ContentBox now. We made that really simple, and we'll show you some of the JSON output. Before I move in, there's any questions about the first thing with security? I see that John and Brad have been talking about the lockouts. Any other questions? Yeah, if not, I'll keep moving on. But if you guys have questions, hit me up in the chat, and I am having an eye on that. So big news is, oops, we have a new official theme. So we've developed a ContentBox 3 default theme, and as I mentioned, themes are no longer layouts; they're actually being updated to themes, so they have more power. We have the new official theme, which is the sort of space theme, and you'll see that when we show some examples. But we also have 7 more official themes, and we have 40 plus more in production, basically, or not, sorry, in production, getting produced right now. We're trying to make the ContentBox as easy as possible to get up and running with a new theme, and we know that's one of the biggest stopping points for a lot of people is when you get a new CMS, you want to throw up a nice theme. John just asked if there's going to be a theme market, free and commercial. We're using ForgeBox to host all of our products, including themes, layouts, modules and widgets for ContentBox. We are at this time only doing free, but we've talked about adding commercial themes, so we will be doing that pretty soon. Brad just posted the link in there for the ContentBox themes. What we're going to do is actually build a nicer interface for the themes. We're going to upgrade ForgeBox to have some specific items just for the ContentBox, so when you're browsing in the admin, you'll be able to see some previews of the screens and different options, and we are looking at doing some work with commercial themes as well. But hopefully, to get started, we're trying to get as much community support just to get the numbers up, because if we have a good number of themes and widgets and modules, it'll help ContentBox as a whole, but we are looking at part of the professional version of ForgeBox with CommandBox to add some of those features, which will include pricing. So, can we add thumbnails to the ForgeBox theme view? Yeah, if you look right in the here, this is actually like a thumbnail. Right now there's one, but I'll show you some more. There's actually a lot of options for adding more details. So we'll go through that, and basically when I get to the end I'll show you, but there's actually options to do installation instructions and different things. You can actually use markdown to have a whole little description of your page. You can add like a Flickr plugin or something like that. Oh, okay, sorry, I misunderstood Jeff's post. So in the link for the ContentBox themes, there's no view right now, but yes, we will be adding that. We're actually, like I said, going to add some options for more screens and everything else. So we're actually customizing that theme type to have a little more information. We want to make sure that the user interface in the admin for ContentBox is, comparable to other CMSs, if not better. And that's one of the things we want to do. So we'll definitely be making that better. But let's show you some of the other themes we've been working on in a minute here. But let's see. So the next thing, restful response formats. So now, if you get into a category in your site, you obviously get back HTML. But if you add a file extension like .xml, I don't know why you do that, but maybe .json, you can actually return that page in JSON format. The other option is you can use a URL parameter like format equals JSON, and it'll actually return JSON instead of the page you're trying to view. So this is a great way to get the same content, make it consumable by something else like a mobile device or maybe another app or JavaScript library that you can actually pull in this stuff and make your sites even better. So we have support for JSON, XML, we even do some PDF and Word there as well. So the great thing is any page, any blog entry, blog archive, or blog filter can be pulled this way. So this is really, really cool. And we'll show you, this is what comes back. So when you ask for basically a blog post, it's going to come back, gives you the HTML description, keywords, allows comments. You're actually getting details from ContentBox, which, shouldn't be really too public. We've streamlined it here to take out some of the really vital information out, but we're also thinking about adding a module that allows you to choose which fields are available. But at this time, this is the type of format you get back. So you get the content, you get the content ID type, when it was created, if it has any custom fields. So it's really consumable, and that's actually how we built the Into the Box app. We base it on this type of response, and if you look at webinar 4, I believe, Scott Steinbeck's going to go a little more detail about how we built the Into the Box app based on ContentBox using this type of response. Admin UI updates. This is pretty huge. We actually have a Flickr gallery. Instead of having to add them all to the slide, I'm just going to show you that real quick because there's a lot of changes. We'll click through it later, but let me just show you. So let's look for the Flickr. So the new login, the new dashboard, you have collapsible menus on the left-hand side here. We got the pretty graphs and everything else. We have useful searches, so it's context related too. The auto updates have been updated as well. The sitemap layout, so where you add your pages and everything else, you can drop and drag the items to reorder them. Lots of preview options there. We've got updates to the editor and everything. I'll go back later, but you'll see that the menu's being shrunk on the left. This is an example of the responsive previews, which I'm going to show you a little later on. So you can actually, when you're previewing your content, you can choose desktop, vertical tablet, horizontal tablet, vertical phone, horizontal phone, or it'll resize for you right in the editor. And it shows you the different formats here. We also have multiple editors now, so we actually have Markdown, which I'll tell you a little more about later. We have an asset chooser, so we actually have a built-in asset chooser, so you can pick images to relate to your content. You can select widgets, so we got a nice interface for selecting widgets. And I'll let you guys look through this at a later time. There's a lot of stuff here giving you the walkthrough of that, and to actually install it yourself, but installing is not too difficult. We can show you that with a one-liner later. So let's get back in. So a big thing for developers here, if you guys are developers, native Markdown support. I just see a question here. Hold on. So Weller is asking, what exactly does the search filter on? So basically the filter has an interception point that it announces. So basically the admin itself will look through, and any module that meets the interception point can return responses. So by default, obviously content and that type of thing that's built into the core content box will show up in that search filter, but then you can actually add on to it by using interceptors, create an event that listens for that interception point, and then you can return stuff from your modules too. So maybe you make a special custom module for managing your DVD collection, which is no longer in your DVD collection shelf, but maybe in there, and so you can actually return it with that information. So someone searches for, a movie on space, you can return all of them, and that'll just basically add to it. So there's a nice little tool for that. So you can just intercept, and away you go. And then can we code to the admin UI with our modules? Basically, in the admin, it's very easy to make your own modules. You can add menus into the menu interface, and I actually did a blog post on those just recently. I'm going to rehash them for this month, and actually have the last webinar on the 29th, I believe. I'm going to show you guys how to add a module to the front end, add a module to the back end, how to add the menus and everything else. So it'll be a deep dive on how to use modules. I'm really loving the way it's working. It's really easy, and it's pretty simple, and just so I don't actually use ContentBox by itself anymore for anything. Whenever I build a site, I build a ContentBox site and just add my modules in there. It's much easier to get started. You get all the admins, permissions, and all the other benefits of ContentBox. So why build from scratch? So let's get back to the slide. So native Markdown support, as I mentioned, now Markdown is obviously important for developers, and we want to be friendly for non-developers too. But there's a big push for Markdown. Everyone uses it now, so we've added native Markdown support. So when you store your content, you can actually choose if you want to store it in HTML or Markdown, which is pretty cool. New code editor, as I mentioned, we flicked through the slides. There's a new editor now. We have some cool little features in here. Like I said, this is the Markdown view right here, so you can see as you type in the Markdown, it's working pretty nice. and you actually can do side by side. So as you're typing in HTML or markdown, you can actually see the preview of the text to the side. Obviously not all the styles are included in this preview, but it's pretty good for side by side. Another cool little feature, just by using local storage in the browser, we've added an editor autosave. And Scott Steinbecker, who's going to be talking about the mobile solution with ContentBox in webinar 4, he actually added this little feature here. But basically, as you're working in here now, you can actually save automatically, and you can go back to a previous version. So maybe you fell asleep at the keyboard and you had a whole bunch of characters that you deleted by mistake. You can go back and revert that there. That wasn't me. I never fell asleep at the disk, honest. No matter what the implementation, these autosave capabilities are available. So if you want to add your own editor, which is easy to do, it'll actually be available to you there too. So that's kind of nice. So this is the responsive previews, as I mentioned before in the slideshow. So there's a couple of different options here. Now these are some of the themes that we've got. So this theme here is just the basic theme. It's space theme, has a big search, nice colors and everything else, and there's a few options for customizing what shows and whatnot. The new themes here, as you scroll down the page, you see the top on the left and the bottom on the right. Some really nice themes that allows you to basically select images from the content store to add into a layout like this. You've got a nice layout, all the icons and everything can be built from content store items. And I believe the majority of these are Bootstrap based, John, just for simplicity. And I forgot to mention is this one here, this actual preview is based on the boot swatch. So Seth and Kurt from Computer Know-How actually developed the theme in the previous version that used boot swatch, and so this one's based on that too. So this one view here that you see is just one color palette. You can actually choose 14 different color styles from boot swatch. So you can choose a lot of different items, and to be honest, out of the box, we've actually just given people that theme and they've chosen a color, and that's all they've had to do with it. So it's pretty nice. So we made the main one boot swatch just to make it as easy as possible for someone to do, but you can obviously install themes, and like I said, this is one of the themes right here. So it's a nice layout, got all the different icons. You've got recent posts that show up on the left hand side or the bottom here. You've got categories. It's a really nice layout. Another one here with a slider at the top, and you've got big images and small images. And as you can see, you got recent posts that show up in a different way. And these are using the featured image, which I did mention briefly. We'll go into more detail later. But basically, with every content item that you add now, you can actually add a featured image. And so throughout the site, if your theme or your module uses it, it'll ask you for what the featured image is, and it can show it. So for this here, it pulls the featured image and actually displays it in line here. This is another one here. Again, pretty simple. These are all generated by using content store items inside ContentBox. And so you can just update the content store item and update the page for you. You don't have to worry about getting into the HTML and working with it. Pretty clean. This one here, another blue one. We like blues. But again, you got 3 or 4 items that show up here. You got slideshows with titles and descriptions. So we're trying to give you really nice positive themes, so that way you can get up and running with a professional theme in no time, because as I said before, getting it looking good has always been an issue with CMSs, so we want to make it as easy as possible for you. It's another one here, nice and clean and simple. It actually has a couple of tabs in there as well for the package with features without the bloat. You'll see there's a couple of tabs there, it can generate tabs for you and everything. Another one here, nice and clean. Again, so we got several different layouts. These are some of the ones that are already available. We're still making some minor updates to them, but they're available and we can actually download them, get them going. Now, question, John had a question about the featured image. Does this mean Facebook is ready when people post links in Facebook? So yeah, actually by having the featured image now, we can actually create a module that does that, or we can actually have the theme do that. But now when we're loading, there's obviously little meta tags that Facebook looks for the main image or whatnot, so we can actually populate that with this featured image. So this is going to be a big step, and like I said, that's one of the things I've been asking for a while, so we finally got that done. I think that'll be great for a lot of different things. So more goodies. We have full screen admin mode in the back now, so you can actually hit hit a link and go straight into full screen mode. Just gives you a little more real estate. And we also, like I said, have those featured images for content. So under the featured image panel, you can select an image or clear an image and use the chooser that we have, so you can upload it to your media store and use it from there. So it's a great little addition. Take a deep breath because we've still got more. Themes. Like I mentioned, themes have had a huge upgrade. So now themes are basically more modular. They're not exactly like a module, but they can actually include modules. So you can actually have a 1 or a million modules that go with your theme. It's a really nice way to be able to give it a little more ammunition when you're developing a theme. So theme developers out there can now make the most of these modules. And then obviously if you're using ForgeBox and CommandBox to manage your theme development, you can actually just have a box.json in there, and then you can just before you build it, you can do a box install all of those modules, and then ship it to ForgeBox. Theme settings, we've also broken down themes. We had some time where we're working with the default theme. We had so many options that there was just a lot of stuff on one page. So we thought, let's make this easier for people when they're working with complex themes, because we want to have great themes. So now we have ways to be able to group them. So you may have, a grouping for colors. You may have one for headers or footers, and so that way when you're actually working inside the theme and you're changing theme settings, you can see that. And to be honest, Luis got inspired, as he says, last night, and actually made them all collapsible now. So for the really long ones, it's easy to work with that. And John asked another question. Thanks for all the questions, John. That's great. Are these universal settings or the settings determined by the theme? The themes themselves actually have a bunch of settings in them that are completely customizable. We have no real theme settings that are mandatory across themes. Obviously, we recommend taking one of our existing themes and probably copy pasting and changing just to get up and running. It's the best way. But these ones are completely up to you. Basically, inside your theme CFC, you actually have a struct called settings, and inside that you have a DSL for how to set up your theme settings. We actually have comma separated lists you can put in there for colors, like the boot swatch theme. Basically, that is just a comma separated list of all the boot swatch themes. But you can also use a UDF, so you can actually say, okay, I want them to pick one of the blog posts to be the highlighted blog. So that can actually do that. The next thing, like I say, with the theme settings, we actually have interception points. So now when you actually have maybe you're wanting to add a special theme, and we don't have a color picker right now. It's in production. I keep saying in production. We're working on that right now to add a color picker. But if you wanted to add your own, you could actually do an interception point. When that item comes through, you can actually intercept it and create your own color picker and put it in the form. And we actually have the interception points to allow you to display your custom element for your theme setting and to save your custom element. So we're going to try and get that added to the system with a couple of examples. You guys see how you do that. But basically, it allows you to make your theme settings whatever you want. So we're hoping to build some cool tools so they can select your image and then maybe even crop it, stuff like that. So, but wait, there's more and more. Like I said, Luis is crazy, inspired, and passionate. So he keeps adding features faster than I can even type in my presentation. So, like I said, just last night he was changing things. So he made it the theme settings all collapsible. He moved some stuff inside of the editor for editing pages. So we're still working on it. Even though the 3.0 release candidate is out, we have a lot of stuff that we're still adding all the time. And to be honest, this would have been out a long time ago, except for the updater. Updating for ContentBox 2 to 3 is a major undertaking with all the database changes, all the ContentBox 3 to 4 changes. There's a lot of work in there, so our updater's taken a long time. We're trying to make that as smooth as possible for you. There are a lot of things that had to change, and so that slowed us down, but we're getting this out very soon. So before the end of this roadshow, the 3.0 final will be out. Obviously, we're hoping you guys can step in and do some testing and get up and running, but we're still adding all the time. So let's check out a fresh install. And like I said, if you guys want to play with it yourself and you have ContentBox and ContentBox, wrong box. if you have ContentBox installed, you can just copy paste this, and it'll install ContentBox Bleeding Edge, which is the release candidate, and start up the server. Basically, as easy as that. I cheated. I did a couple of steps. I set up the data source and a few settings, but I actually have a couple of sites up and running here. So if we have any questions real quick, then I'm going to just basically click through, and we'll just sort of show you guys some of the stuff by clicking through. And I actually have two sites set up. One is actually the version I had ready to show you, to be honest. And then I had to install it again this morning because Luis changed so much damn stuff. So anyway, so if anyone's got any questions, let me know, and then we can look through it. If you got any things you wanted me to click around and sort of show you, I can try and do that as well. But I wanted to make it short and to the point, and then like actually have you guys see me click around. Obviously, there's a lot of great stuff to see. So what do you guys want to look at? Okay, so John asked, have we guys considered creating an online training site, paid pro training? Now, are you talking about us training people how to use ContentBox, or us creating a site that people can actually use for their trainings that they want to provide to other people? Developer training? We actually have something in the works called Ortus University. So I don't know if you guys have heard about that or not. Into the Box, we announced in the keynote that we're starting Ortus University, which will be developer training from learning Cold Fusion to learning ContentBox, learning HTML and CSS. We're trying to build up a lot of things, and ContentBox will be in there. We're always going to try and offer a decent amount of developer training for free. Obviously through these types of events, but we will probably be adding paid trainings for this as well. We'll be working on Ortus University in the near future. We're hoping to get that released before the end of the year, and that is something we'll be having available there. So, and Jeff's also mentioned some non-developer training would be nice too because of the end users. And actually, the next presentation we're doing is by Jorge. And he's going to be talking about ContentBox administration. So that's looking from just the administration side. So if you have some people some customers that might want to look at this, you guys invite them to the next webinar where he'll show you how to add users and add content and actually work with the site. So you don't have to be a developer to see that one and get some idea how it works. So I think that'll be a great one to show too. And we will be definitely doing trainings and videos aimed at designers for developing themes. We'll be doing some for developers for creating modules, but we'll also be doing some for the administrators and the users for how to use ContentBox, because it's not just a developer tool. We're getting a lot of interest from enterprises, and that's where we're sort of aiming, and we have a range of people looking at using ContentBox, so it'll definitely be there. So, any other questions? If not, I'm going to jump out there. Joseph asked, can themes from other CMS be used? To be honest, the themes are very unique to ContentBox, but what we're looking at doing is trying to look at some things. I think there was a one that someone mentioned the other day. There's a lot of template-based ones out there that we can, we're trying to figure out ways to import them directly or have some conversion process, but currently we have to sort of do them manually. Like I said, we are working on getting, we want to do another 30 or 40. We want to have 50 themes before the end of the year. That's our goal. It's a pretty big one. Hopefully with help from the community we can get there. But if you have themes that you use a lot or whatnot, let us know. Talk to us, because we definitely will take input. But we're trying to look at certain ones that have, certain styles that we can maybe import, or even have a migration tool that helps us generate them. So we're looking for that. And obviously we're starting to use this for every customer. Like I said, I use this on every customer now. I never use just a straight ContentBox site. I always start with that. So hopefully we keep adding modules and widgets and themes. We can all help each other. So let me just show you a couple of things. Someone just mentioned documentation. So of course I've got to show you the new Git book that we have for ContentBox. We've been working on ContentBox so much over the past few versions, we never had much in there, but we've actually started. So you've got the what's new. This talks about the administrator, the the themes, etc. So we have quite a lot of content in here talking about upgrading. So this is using the updater. We're still testing this out. So if you guys want to test updating your site, please back it up first. But you guys can help test this out as well. So we're starting to add information on system requirements and different ways to install it and using this. We're still working on it, to be honest. We've been working hard on getting the code out. Documentation is going to be here. So you guys can definitely step in and help with that too if you'd like. ContentBox. Can ContentBox generate themes? Yes, you can generate a theme from ContentBox. We're working on a whole bunch of ContentBox tools for CommandBox, so you can just spin up a default theme. We're going to try and make it where it comes with all the automation you need too, because part of it we're using Grunt and Gulp to actually use Bower, and so you have Bower and npm based assets that get generated into your theme. So we're actually going to try and create a starting point theme that you could spin up a command box, say new content box theme, or something like that, and basically generate it all out for you. Put in some basic placeholders, set up your grunt and gulp scripts or whatnot as well, and be ready to go. So it'll be pretty great. I see a lot of people willing to help. John's saying he can help with integrations for Aweber, MailChimp, etc. So lots of different options there. We haven't done much testing with Google page speed just yet, John, but we are working on going through and doing all the Google tests on the clients that are starting to use us already. So we'll be using that information, and obviously we have a lot of caching built in. Okay, so let me take you through the front end a little bit here. So this is an example site I just installed. So it's got our sample information. So you've got the base entry. You've got a nice little theme here. If we go to About, you'll see that it's got nice splashes of colors. You've got your options here for print format or PDF format, so you can do different options for your pages. It's a nice little theme. If we go to themes here, you'll see you have a lot of theme settings, so we can actually choose any of these colors for the boot swatch. So let's just change it and see what it looks like. So let's go to superhero, and we'll save this and see what I mean here by all of these settings. We have a lot of settings in the default theme, so you can change the logo URL. You can show the search field if you'd like or not. You can put text in the footer. You can change the title, the header text, and all sorts of different things on the home page. You can choose if you want to show categories, recent settings, etc. So a lot of different options there. So let's save this. Oh, of course not. Let me refresh my command box. My bad. I was playing with things before the presentation. I should know better, right? Yeah. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. So let's do a refresh here. So you can see that we had some major color changes there. Again, there's about 15 different swatches. If you actually go to boot swatch, I'll just pull that up real quick. So you can see there's a bunch of different themes here. So a lot of these should be able to get you up and running pretty quickly for using the site. So we try to make it as flexible as possible for our default theme. So again, let's go into the system settings. We'll look at some of those cool new settings we had. So under settings here, under security options, you'll see this is where the login tracker is. So you can change this here. This is where the rate limiter is. So you can change those in SSL. So basically the whole security tab is new. So that's pretty nice. If you go down to users, let me see, I just got a question here. Some great questions coming through here. So, which CFML platforms we're running on? We're running on Lucy and ColdFusion. We're doing testing on both. Obviously, we use CommandBox for spinning most of these up, so we're using the multi-site. Basically, I believe we're supporting ColdFusion 10, 11, and 12. We need to do some more testing on the newest ones, but we're using against all of them. So if you guys have the opportunity to test, let us know if you find anything different. How easy would it be to do A/B testing for content, themes, etc.? We haven't actually done a lot of the A/B testing stuff. We probably need to talk about that a little more. I think it's Chris Weller. So I think if it's probably something we need to like communicate with you guys and see what you need to do for that. So, and Daniel asked about generate static site. Right now, it doesn't generate a static site. We've talked about the idea of actually being able to generate one from it, be able to click a button and spin it up. So that's something we've been talking about as maybe an add-on module or something like that, because obviously you can generate the JSON from everything and build it how you want. So we've talked about it, but currently it does not. And John asked about multi-site. Multi-site has been a big thing that we've been wanting to do for a while, and we have actually a couple people that are interested in sponsoring. So if somebody else needs multi-site or wants multi-site, we're looking for contributors to help sponsor this module. Obviously, it's going to be a major win for ContentBox, but also a major undertaking. So if you guys have the need for that, let us know if you're interested in contributing and how much you'd be willing to contribute, and we're basically going to try and pull the money together to be able to help sponsor this module, because like I said, it is a major undertaking and we really want to do it, and we have some customers that are willing to put some money in for it. So if you guys are interested in helping or contributing to that with time or money, please let us know. Multi-site is going to be a big thing, and obviously we're going more enterprise, and that's something we need to do there too. So we know it's an important thing. But is there anything else you guys would like to look at in here? Let me just show you one thing real quick, because under content, so you guys can see here we've got editor and we have the custom fields and the history and the comments. We have another thing that Luis just added yesterday. So this is what I just finished installing right before the presentation. So let me try and log in here. Hopefully it works. And we'll see what's changed since last night. So we'll go to blog. Oh, no, it isn't in here yet. So he must not have merged that pull request yet. Okay, so I feel a little bitter. I thought I was missing out. But basically, an SEO panel now exists. So a lot of the items that were in the HTML attributes, so you've got a couple items in here. We've added a few more to make it more SEO friendly out of the box. So there's going to be an SEO panel here. And like I said, the build for that hasn't been completed because he's still working on it. But that's actually something we just changed. So that's kind of cool. We also have the option for, like I said, the full screen here. So you can jump to full screen mode and you can exit full screen mode. So that's another add-on that we've just done recently. We've been looking at WordPress a lot. Obviously, that's one of the biggest competitors. Most people using WordPress, and there's a lot of things I like about it, but there's a few things they don't like either. So we're really spending time to look at why people would use WordPress over us. SEO, we're trying to make it easier for you to access that. And then the next big thing is really the themes, and we've done a lot of work on the themes. And if I get to the theme settings here, okay, so yeah, the latest changes he has is not there. So, but yeah, so themes is obviously a big thing too. We're looking at doing better ways to preview, to have more options. Like I said, we're adding things like color pickers to the theme settings. So you can be able to add more. The group settings is another thing here. The ability to add modules or whatever. So there's a lot of things we're doing. So I think it could be really good. Like I said, there's lots of ideas. We've got a lot of ideas, but we needed to release this. So as soon as we finish the updater, which we have, we're just testing it right now. We basically just need to go in and basically get producing, cut it, and then we can do 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, and we actually have a whole lot of things planned out. So we're really excited about that. And if there's other things you guys need to see, let us know. But let me just show you something else real cool here. So let's see. Can we do the .json on an empty string? Yes, we can. There you go. So this is this page right here. This is a JSON version of the home page. We can change it to XML. And of course, you got to view the page source to see it. But there you go. So you've got entries, items, struct, content. Everything's escaped. That's really pretty cool. If you actually have the about page, for example, you can do about.json. And here you go. So there's all the information there. So we got a lot of great things, say planned. We got a lot of options for it. So we're hopefully you guys are excited as we are, and let's get contributing. Let's make this a great product. We need your a little bit of testing. Hopefully get some more great blog posts out here this month. I'll get you guys excited and get you guys working on it. But if there's anything you need, anything you need to see to get using this, if you're not using it already, let us know. Like I said, we can try and get it built up. We're looking at questions in the chat right now are about a backup module. We're looking at a commercial product for the automatic backup process, but you can easily import and export your site right now. Let me go back to the settings. So the importer is pretty nice. The exporter here, it'll actually export everything and it puts it into a file. Or if you want to be picky, you can here say, I just want the pages, or I want my pages and entries and categories, or maybe I don't want my authors, or maybe you just want your authors because you're going to do a duplicate site or something like that. So, lots of options. Email templates, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do. And again, ContentBox is built on ColdBox, so we do interceptions and everything else. So, if you want to make something bigger or better, you can intercept and add to it. So, it's open source. Get in there, have a look around. There's a lot of great stuff in here, but we can always add more. So, we need you guys' feedback to make this a great product. So we use it every day for our customers, and we want you guys to help us make it a great product. So, is there any more questions? I don't think I got any more slides here. Nope, that's the last one. What Ajax libraries are we working with? Well, currently, most of it is written in jQuery. We're actually looking at doing some Vue. So we're looking at rewriting it currently. So we're actually, once we've cut this and released it, and it's out in the wild, we're going to actually spend some time going through the whole back end because we've made it more responsive. We got the new theme in the admin, which is great, but we really want to look at each screen and try and make them a little more usable. So right now, it's all jQuery, but we're going to be working on doing, like I say, Vue probably. We're like Angular, but Vue is just easy to be able to drop in, so we're looking at doing that. Vue.js, yep. It's basically a hybrid of React and Angular, and it seems to have good support. And so that's probably what we're going to be looking at doing. It just seems to be cleaner, but obviously we're leaving it open to other things, but we're heading that way right now. We've done some Angular with some customers and some Vue, and we're really liking that. So that's probably where we'll end up for that. I said we are going to look at redoing everything in the back end, page by page, and really clean it up. So I think with that, I'm going to jump back to the main screen, unless we have any more questions. Okay. So we're almost at the hour. Anything else you guys would like? Hopefully you all enjoyed the walkthrough. Let's say the next 4 presentations are going to be worth seeing too. Please come and check those out. Like I said, they're not all aimed at the developer too. So if you have people that might be working on your sites or customers that might be interested in this, please let them know. And obviously the ContentBox Administration 101 next week would be great for anyone using the site. So. Okay. Well, it looks like everybody's Okay, so John also said the image library that we like versus WordPress would be awesome. Yeah, images and the way themes work with them is really a big thing too. Obviously we have some custom content management systems we've worked in the past before. Myself and Esmeralda, which has been doing all our themes. She's bringing a lot of WordPress knowledge over too, but we've done WordPress and content and our own custom stuff. So we're wanting to bring a lot of those flexibilities into this. So I say you guys let us know what you want. The WordPress image library needs to look up the definition of a library. Yeah, WordPress is different. I mean, it's got the people behind it though, and that's what we're trying to build here too. We need to get some support from the community and add those modules and tools as we build them for our customers. And I got high hopes. So, well, if we got no more questions, I'm going to stop the recording. If you guys want to ask a question after that, that's fine. But thank you again for joining us in the ContentBox Roadshow, and we have plenty more coming. So stay tuned.